I want you to have control over the case and the mock-up. Change the mock-up in minutes when you have to, and then print the mock-up in the first appointment. How that works is interesting and exciting, and I'm very happy that I can present you a new way to design 3 cases. First of all, we do have the picture and the intraoral scan. If you do have an intraoral scan with colors and OBJ, then you can use the OBJ with colors, and then you have a beautiful visualization of the upper jaw. We do have the first step, and the first step is manually done. 3 points on the intraoral scan, 3 points on the picture. So I don't have the time and the resources, to optimize, to automate also this step right now. So we're gonna work on it, but to a later point, so that we can finalize actually what is way more important. It's the 3D smile design. This step can be done manually. That's totally fine. And now what happens here, it's very, very fast and very, very fascinating, I think. In the first step, we calculate automatically the occlusal plane from the intraoral scan. As you can see, the occlusal plane, the profile, and the occlusal view are set automatically and accurate. If you have the palatal area, then we see the midline of the scan, and you can see the midline is pretty accurate. We could calculate the design automatically for you, but nevertheless, I want you to make some decisions, because it is important to know, do we have a symmetric arch or we don't? Is the patient open for an ortho treatment or not? Because if you think I can present to my patient an ideal smile design with a symmetric occlusal curve, then you select here ideal, type of the occlusal curve, ideal. And then when we calculate the curve automatically, you see it is symmetric. And here it's following the patient arch. Here we need actually more space to expand actually the arch to make it symmetric, or to correct with the thickness of the veneers. But the occlusal curve is calculated automatically. And now we go to the next step, two clicks, and we calculate the 3D smile design. Boom. Done. We do have now the 3D smile design. We can discuss with the patient now the templates, the form of the templates. What do you like? Do you like the round, triangle, square? Do you like the open embrasures, closed embrasure, incisal edges, buccal surfaces? So we can discuss all these details with the patient. When the patient says, actually, I like the smile, that's fine. Good. Then we need to finalize the smile. And as you can see, the gingival margins of the centrals are not covered by the design, by the motivational mock-up. But the motivational mock-up is additive, so we need to cover the patient's teeth. And we can use the mesh editor. This step will be also automated, so we will analyze what is the patient design, the patient's teeth, and then we will cover here automatically the gingival margins. And like this. And now the only thing that is left for the mock-up is to delete from the palatal area the material excess, right? So that the mock-up is gonna be additive like veneers, and the patient has a beautiful experience and can close the mouth without having material in the mouth. Here we go. There is something that I don't like here in this case, but for that we go now, because we have the 3D smile design done, as you can see, and it was 2 clicks and 1 minute adjustment. Now we have the time to discuss with the patient something that is very, very cool, and I integrated in SmileFy decades of knowledge and scientific papers regarding smile harmony. What do I mean? Number one, we do have the facial proportions and the facial flow. So we analyze the facial flow of the patient. It is a beautiful study written by Christian Coachman, Bruno Pereira, Kyle Stanley, and Eduardo Mann. Intrapupillar line, commissure line, are they parallel or not? Number two, the midline of the face is not a midline. It's a curve created by the glabella, tip of the nose, philtrum, and chin. 95% of the patients, they have a facial flow. Understanding the facial flow is important, because if the chin of the patient goes to a certain, to the right or to the left, and your design is following the opposite direction, because of the crossing lines in the face, chin goes in one direction, smile goes into the opposite direction, you create a visual tension in the face. Creating a visual tension in the face, the smile that we create is not in harmony with the face. So we analyze the face, we know what we can do, and we know what we shouldn't do. That's the first facial flow analysis. Then we do have, and that's fascinating, the zenith analysis. We have the highest point of the gingiva, and we analyze now the triangles created by these 3 points. And we see that we have different angulations. We have different values for the angulations, different distances between the original zenith of the lateral and canine. And now we can discuss with the patient to bring your smile in the perfect harmony. We need to make sure that these 2 triangles are as close as possible and as symmetric as possible. It means we could correct with the gingivectomy the gingival margins of your left central, lateral, and canine, and create the same size on the right side and left side, because as you can see on the right side, you do have a higher gingival margin than on the left side. So you can talk now about gingivectomies, you can talk about the treatment plan, you can talk about very, very specific details, how after the smile analysis, how can you create the smile in a very, very harmonic and natural way. And also we see that the gingival margins for the centrals are not the same, and that's something that disturbs me, because what you see in a smile is always the centrals, and the centrals needs to be the same size, gingival margins, round, symmetric, beautiful, because that's gonna be the first thing that you see in a smile. And we have here a complete different gingival margins form than on this other side, so we need to correct that. Patient has a beautiful visualization of what can be done, and then we can discuss the treatment. Another very important aspect of the smile design is the axial angulation of the teeth. As you can see, let me turn off the lights here, the rendering. So as you can see, we do have on one side, the canine has a different axial angulation than this one. You click, you reflect the angulation on from the opposite canine, and now we do have both canines in the same angulation, and that creates a better harmony of the smile when we do have this axial angulations the same on the right and left side. Smile analysis, of course, we can do some measurements. We can click and say, look, we're gonna increase your central with 1.5 millimeters, and a lot of stuff that we can do. Also, what we can do is to visualize digitally the gingivectomy and the gingival corrections. For we can go to the mesh editor, and with the brushes that we have, you see now we can deform and simulate actually a gingival correction like this, and here it's gonna be a little bit complicated, but we can smooth out, we can do it like this. We need actually to make sure that both sides are gonna be more or less the same, in the same form. Not quite, but that's the idea. Smooth out. So, and then suddenly I can show to my patient, look, that's the gingival correction. Now we have on both sides, we have the same size of your veneers, and that's gonna be a smile that is much more in harmony with your face and everything. Now, one very important advantage of SmileFy is that every time you do something and you modify the layers, we create new layers. So you don't need to duplicate, layers or things. You don't need to duplicate layers because that's the original intraoral scan. And because I changed the scan and I simulated the gingivectomy, I have now, let me make it like this. I have now the option to compare. You see, I have the option to compare. So we duplicate everything what is changed. You just focus on the smile design and you focus on everything what needs to be done. The central is not, I'm not happy with the central, but I'm not gonna do more now with the mesh editor because I need to show you more stuff, but that's the idea. If we take the time, then we can really copy the gingival margins and we create a beautiful digital plan with gingivectomy and a beautiful result. Now the patient is motivated. We'll go to the CAT features and you just click on the mockup button and we prepare the file for printing. Very important to realize right now, we didn't spend our time, and that's very, very important. We didn't spend our time trying to place our teeth and templates in the right position. That was given by the technology. What we worked was patient communication, explaining what needs to be done, what can be done. Smile analysis, we analyzed the axial angulation of the teeth, the gingival margins, the triangles. So we had actually a better and deeper discussion into the smile characteristics and smile harmony than trying to fight with the technology.